Previously on the 1911 Syndicate. Hey, there's going to be some good things and some not so good things with this. The handguard is going to be the source of many of my problems with the gun. So it looks good, but it doesn't actually do anything for you. It gets hot as shit. It sacrifices too many things. You're telling me you made a 7.5 inch PDW stock 300 Blackout gun that only runs supers? And she's ugly in the inside. Hey, the gun doesn't work. So if it's only made to run on supers, please call it the loud professional. So there it is. Our journey with 300 Blackout PDWs has been rocky. And to be completely honest, I had no desire to continue down that expensive path to hell. And then we got a call from a company named GQ Armory.
And we agreed to review their Paladin Black Edition. If this 300 Blackout can't be good, we're done. On paper, the GQ Armory Paladin checks all the boxes. But we've been duped before. So despite all the cool guy features, the real question is, can the Paladin just not suck? Well, let's find out.
All right, everyone, welcome to the freaking show today. Today we're talking about the GQ Armory Paladin Black Edition. What does that mean? Well, it's Paladin, and it's all blacked out, you know? It is relatively straightforward.
Thanks.
Do we end it here? Is this the end of the review?
I guess we're done. Let's go home.
Is that pretty much it?
Wrap it up.
So here's a little bit of context to this. I have, as illustrated in the intro, you know, kind of a dicey history with 300 Blackout personally on PDW style platforms, but I've sought one for a very long time now, for a matter of years, as a awesome, you know, I really like sub guns for home defense guns, and I've sought like a 300 Blackout PDW as a home defense gun, truck gun, travel gun, things like that, which is really a sub gun on steroids at that point, about the same length and yada, yada, yada. This is the latest, greatest thing that I got, and we're gonna break it down. Relationship with GQ Armory, just so you guys kind of know how this panned out. GQ Armory, actually, we talked very briefly, or very soon after we did our last 300 Blackout video, which was on the Battle Arms gun, which I wouldn't say went great. In fact, it might have even went poorly. So you guys can go look that up, and we are also glad you guys enjoyed the intro to that video. So I talked to GQ and just said, hey, look, you know, let's give it a go. And so they sent it out, you know, the gun in the can, they provided for the review, standard stuff. It's fair that you guys know that. We are able to be honest reviewers, which is not always the case with people that receive firearms for their review, but we will give you a fair shake. There's some good, and then there's some critical things that will be here as well. So you're gonna get a little bit of both on that. Before we get into it, Ciguera, man, let me tell you what they make.
Belts.
Right there, right? There's a little tummy and a little bit of belt. The belly comes over the belt a little bit, but you know,
happens.
That's how she goes. Yeah. That's just how she goes.
So does yours.
Hey,
you
don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Bitch.
This is my space. This is my personal space. Juan over at Ciguera, I'm sorry about the harassment that I'm receiving on this set here, but there's a code you guys can plug in. It's 1911 Syndicate. It's lowercase, no spaces, saves you guys 10%. We've done a couple reviews on their stuff. Great belts. We've got those linked below, so you guys can check that out if you like. They're a good company, good folks. Go give them some support. Okay, let's get into things. So let's To the extent possible, especially when we're featuring a company that might be either lesser known or the first time on our channel, we try to give you just a brief kind of history of like, so who is this company?
Sure.
Okay, so GQ Armory, they're a boutique company. It's not a large company, and they're based out of the Northeast, actually, which is typically not a place you see a lot of firearms companies.
True.
But they're actually up in the Northeast, trying to hold it down for some 2A rights up there. But I'd say they're a fairly boutique company. They make a lot of specialty guns, largely guns that are either PDW style with an emphasis on being lightweight, and they do some of those, PDW style weapons in sort of a multitude of calibers. So this is in 300 Blackout. I think they have a 5.56 gun, but I know that they also do some stuff with 8.6 these days. I think they've got like a 6.5 arc variant. They got a handful of different things. Point being, they're a fairly specialty brand that focuses on some relatively niche stuff.
Sure.
And they're hyper focused on weight, which we will talk about in just a moment. So the Paladin is basically their core series of guns, and it comes in a few different iterations. They've got a standard one. They've got a carbon edition, incorporating some carbon fiber parts. They have an SD, which is actually pretty neat. Don't have that one. Basically, I've got a standard one that, obviously has a suppressor in it. We'll talk about that as we go. The standard ones do have some like, I don't know if it's actually titanium nitride, but the color of, those gold accents. Stupid ass fly over here. With like bolt carrier groups and some of the like, triggers and safeties and stuff like that. They kind of like some of that stuff.
Sure.
That stuff is not typically super my jam, but I do know that a lot of people like that. But when we first talked to them and they mentioned the whole blackout thing, I was like, yeah, that's more my style.
Yeah.
Just like,
all black, easy.
Dark, evil looking, I like some stuff with a little bit of bling. I'm just not big gold.
You're white and evil, but.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that makes me sound really bad when we put it that way. Okay, so the first thing I will tell you is to judge this gun, amongst other things, you must judge it for what it is, not for what you hypothetically want it to be or what it clearly isn't. What do I mean by that? So this is not an SR30, okay? If you want a hard use, you can beat it up and, it's just a tank, but it's still a 300 Blackout, like, hey, this probably is not your thing that you're going to want to gravitate towards, because it has a big focus on being as lightweight as possible. In fact, it is the lightest gun of this, PDW 300 Blackout that's on the market. We'll kind of get into that. So this is going to be better suited for more of a E&E style gun, home defense, maybe truck, but basically a lightweight, packable gun that doesn't take up a lot of space, that's clutch on the weight savings, and that's what it is. If you're like kicking doors in Ramadi or something, you're like, hey, be aware of that.
Okay.
And all of that is going to come into factor when it comes to overall reliability in adverse conditions. Hey, these are some things that you're going to want to factor in. As mentioned, it's the lightest gun in its class for a 300 Blackout PDW. To be very specific, the gun and the can combined are under 5 pounds. Insanely light. When I first got it, I was like, dude, this thing feels like a toy or something.
It feels almost like a pistol.
Yeah. Well, it started out in life as a pistol before. Thanks a lot, ATF. You took all that away from us, and then we had to make some accommodations. But yeah, gun and can under 5 pounds. It is extremely, extremely light. So yes, it's lighter than a Honey Badger, and I didn't go research every model, but I'm told from GQ, hey, it's the lightest thing in the market. That's why we designed it that way, because we kind of wanted to take that crown. The question that I've got, as mentioned, anytime we do reviews, hey, we try to give you critical thought. So the critical thought that I'm going to add into that is, so why does it need to be so lightweight? That was a question that I kind of had with myself right out of the gates. But why does it need to be that lightweight?
I don't have an answer for you. Just because people like lightweight firearms, which...
Yes.
Lifts more weights, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Truthfully, my thing that I would probably say about it is I think that when it comes to the battle of who can make the lightest gun, I think it's less about the market, because this is a civilian gun. That's, it's not a military contract gun.
Sure.
It's like, so I think the civilian market of buyers is less interested in your gun being as lightweight as possible, as opposed to manufacturers wanting to one-up each other.
My 2 cents, working behind a gun counter for 10 years, I would say the commercial market is just as worried about weight.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Shooters, not so much.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, the average gun store guy that comes in, 90% of them, I want the lightest weight, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, really? Like, interesting.
Why?
Okay.
Well, they don't really have an answer, but it is a common thread.
Okay, that's fascinating. So I'll stand corrected on that. What I'm going to advise it to is...
Record that, by the way.
Yes.
I corrected him.
Yeah, well, I chose to be corrected.
Such a bitch.
There's an option there. I made a choice in life right now.
You're such a bitch.
But I am not so concerned about the weight thing. It's not that I want the chunkiest, heaviest gun in the world, but it's like, I don't care about it being the lightest thing in the world. I want it to be, you know, good. I just want it to be good. That's what I want.
Sure.
So I think that's more of manufacturers sort of leaning into it, and apparently some people that aren't me that do want the lightest gun that can exist. But the weight savings are really going to come from everywhere possible. I'm going to take a quick pause and show you guys the bolt carrier group. This is the bolt carrier group. What's interesting about this actually is a standard bolt carrier group gun.
Yeah.
What I mean is it doesn't take a proprietary BCG. This is just a super lightweight one that they do to, again, try to take weight from everywhere possible to keep the weight down on the gun to make it the lightest 300 Blackout PDW. Okay, now we're going to throw this back in, and I'm just going to show you why I'm not necessarily a big fan of this. Okay, so the bolt carrier group, as you can see, is extremely lightweight. The other thing that I don't love about that is, we'll show you some footage here in just a sec, but so the gun has no dust cover. I very much prefer having a dust cover on a rifle, you know, because one, I live in a dusty environment. And literally the gun's sitting back here in the last hour since we weren't shooting it, there's dust all over the gun right now. So it's like, hey, I live in a dusty environment, and I get it, the dust cover adds weight. For me, it is an important feature. For me, right? You guys might be like, hey, I live in whatever, and I don't give a shit about that, or I care about the weight, whatever.
It's a non-issue to me.
But the thing is, though, because that bolt carrier group is so skeletonized, you'll guys see in this footage here, there is a slight gap. There's basically a tiny, tiny hole in between the bolt carrier group that goes into the lower receiver.
Upper receiver.
Well, yeah.
Because it's in the upper receiver, but yeah.
Into the upper receiver, right? So, again, I'm saying, hey, that combination of that slight gap with no dust cover, and depending on your environment, hey, is this the gun you necessarily want for adverse conditions, like that hard use adverse conditions? Probably not. I'd say it's going to be a little bit more of a safe queen in terms of what you're going to need to do to keep her running and the type of conditions you're going to allow it to shoot in. Okay, guys, if you're looking for any ways to support the channel, that would be great. Go to 1911syndicate.com. Most of what you're going to need to know is on that. I would highly suggest sign up for the newsletter. That is a combination of a little bit of weekly real estate sort of news and advice. If you don't know, the 1911 Syndicate is actually a real estate business that works all over the United States. So if you need help buying or selling them homes, you call your boys here. We'll take care of that shit for you. And then we got the Patreon swag. We got all kinds of swag and shit on the site. So anyway, check all that out. Okay, let's start getting into really like kind of the feature set of the gun, because one of the things that this gun does very well is it doesn't leave you wanting much from a feature set perspective, okay? Which is good because it's not cheap. Let's start on the lower. So we do have a billet lower, which is great. It is very well machined. It is mostly ambidextrous. The only thing that it is missing is the mag release on the left side of the gun.
Yep.
Beyond that, now I say this in almost every sort of ambidextrous AR related video, I care not that much about that, because my manual of arms as a lefty, for those of you that are interested in this kind of thing, is gun runs dry. And instead of, because the reality is all the ambidextrous mag releases, they're all in slightly different places.
Sure.
And slightly just, they're just all kind of different. And because when I'm shooting, everyone don't get PTSD at home from this, but
no one behind the
when
camera.
I'm doing this, there's no one back there. Because my face is really predominantly, I'm seeing this side of the gun. If I need to look at something, I can't actually see what I'm pushing right here.
Sure.
So I'm not trying to dance around here in order to find where is the mag release on this particular gun. So what I do is I run dry, I go gun down, I actually strip mag. new mag goes in, and I push the ambidextrous bolt release. That's how I run a gun. So it has all the features that I care about. I, as a lefty, don't actually care about the mag release being on the left side of the gun. Okay, so for me, functionally, it does everything that it needs to do. It does have a generous mag well that I actually quite like, and it is really nice on reloads.
Yeah.
You know, again, that's all machined into the actual lower.
Yeah, flared out and everything.
Yeah, it's really nice. Actually, a very nice lower. I quite like the lower. The trigger. So, trigger seems to be the culprit of a little bit of issues that, of course, have not shown up until today. And sometimes, guys, review days are just that day when you're like, why do all the problems have to show up on review day?
Like, well, plenty of times we'll have firearms that we're reviewing.
It's
no
just
issues.
crazy.
And then we get out here and issues.
It's just crazy. And I think part of it, you know, environment, things like that can dictate. But
no, I think it's the universe.
Yeah, it could be that. I don't know that God loves me. And
I said the universe, not God.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Well, maybe the universe doesn't love me. I don't know.
I wouldn't love you.
I don't know. Well, I don't love myself most of the time. Yeah.
Stupid.
You know, so I guess we'll do this. We'll go ahead and do the critical section of the review here, because let's just go ahead and get it over with, right? There's two things that have happened, and I just want to be very transparent with you guys. So today is the second time that we've actually filmed this video. What happened was we went to film this video. At the point of filming this, we went to the first time that we shot it was 2 months ago. And I had very consistent issues with failure to feeds. And so the night before filming the review, you know, I was talking to the owner of GQ Armory, and he's like, look, you know, crank up the gas. He's like, I really think it's an ammo issue, but he's like, you know, crank up the gas and just make sure that bolt carrier group's getting all the way back and can power through what the ammo is. And so we get out to review day, the gun is clean, it's been oiled, you know, it's like I'd really like tried to make sure this was gonna go well. And the whole first day that we filmed this, it was just kind of a nightmare. I mean, we couldn't get probably past 5 rounds without having a failure to feed, and we're gonna show you exactly what that looks like now. Okay, so what we just showed you, that, you know, and again, I'm not trying to throw shade here, but hey, the reality is what the reality is. It would appear that the subsonic rounds from Callaway Ballistics are a big part of the problem, because as soon, basically that day, called the owner of GQ, and I'm like, look, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'm out here filming this review, and, you know, I'm kind of pissed because I'm like, you know, maybe TMI here, but it's like, you know, these are multi-$1,000 production days that we're doing here. So when a video kind of melts down and a company saying like, hey, give us a chance to fix this, I'm like, shit, man, I've been shooting this thing for a month. Like, today's not the day for like...
Well, it just becomes more and more money.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, this is a big burn of cash if I've got to redo a video here. But, you know, I'm trying to also be nice and respectful, and it's fine balance. And so he's like, dude, I swear it's the issue. I'm going to send you guys new factory rounds. I'm going to send you... And so they basically wound up sending us about 500 rounds between factory SIG ammo and SMB subsonic rounds. The SIG stuff was the SIG Marksman. It's 220 grain subs. The SMB is their standard
300 blackout.
205 grain, if I remember right.
200 grain.
200. Okay, yep. So I didn't adjust the gas. I left it where it was, which is pretty cranked up, cleaned the gun, and then ran like, I think 3 range days since I got the new ammo. Haven't had a single hiccup on the gun since then. Of course, we come out here today and we haven't had a hiccup. And then I grab a box of SIG's tipped duty rounds, because I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to start using this as a home defense gun. So I'm going to throw 20 rounds of my actual self-defense 300 blackout rounds, which have kind of a rounded nose, and those ran fine except one. Uh-oh, that is a malfunction. So that's what happened before. Oh, shit. Motherfucker got tagged up. I'm gonna chalk that one up as a loss. I'm not shooting that again.
Oh, you can shoot it.
Yeah.
It's just the Palmer tip that, yeah. I'd still shoot it.
So I had one failure to feed, which was almost identical to what I'd gotten on the Callaway stuff. So that was issue number one. Look, I don't know ultimately, is the gun just really picky on ammo? Was the Callaway stuff total just train wreck, which, you know, I feel bad saying this, but it's like I've had a dicey relationship with, especially with their reloads. It has not been good. So it, again, is what it is. You guys, support us, so you guys deserve a fair answer here.
Sure.
And so, hey, look, I don't know if it's the round nose stuff, if it's underpowered ammo, I don't know what it is, but the gun ran everything fine except the Callaway stuff and the round nose Sig tip duty stuff. But then another issue showed up today, and I was like, son of a bitch, seriously? I'm running a drill, and I get a click instead of a bang, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I look, and I got an empty round, empty chamber, so basically bolt it and walk back to the rear. And now we will show you some footage of what was going on with that.
What the shit? The bolt catch is getting hung up on something.
Yeah.
I just saw it fall down.
Well, I engaged it. I flipped it on over there. Okay, up. Okay, bolt catch is down. I'm gonna activate it. Well, that is a gun problem.
That is a major problem.
That's a gun problem. That's not a mag issue.
Damn it,
that's
dude.
the bolt. That's the bolt catch.
Yep, that is the bolt catch 100%. You can see it.
Yeah, so it's engaged. Same mag.
Yep.
Bolt catches up. Okay. Mag back in. Bolt catch hanging on. It's up, but I wouldn't say fully up.
Oh.
Okay, everyone, let's just go ahead and take a quick pause from the action there. So this is now a month after we filmed that bit, and just want to bring a little bit of clarity, at least to the best that I can, on what the issue was that day regarding the bolt not locking to the rear. After a bunch of diagnosis and everything, it would appear that it was actually the bolt catch. So the bolt catch that GQ Armory uses is from Battle Arms. So basically, this is the used one, and this little nub here that winds up sort of indexing with your follower and doing its thing. We thought, okay, that thing must have either just got worn down or something broke or sheared off or something, because it was clearly too short to be able to lock the bolt back with all the different mags. So GQ sent me a replacement one from GQ and one from Seekins. And we put the two ones from GQ side by side, and you look at them and you go, these things are dimensionally identical. There's no difference. So I don't actually think that this one particular one was out of spec. I think, I don't know, just maybe all the Battle Arms ones are out of spec. Like, I don't know. I can't really speculate on that other than to say, I got two, and neither of these are gonna get the job done. We threw the one from Seekins in the gun, and everything locks back, and everything's fine. I've not live fired the gun since the day that we filmed that, so I can't confirm it with live fire, but I'll just say with metal mags and P mags and 300 blackout mags and all kinds of stuff, everything locks back on the Seekins mag catch, which would lead us to the conclusion of Battle Arms is currently batting 1,000 in their last couple appearances on our channel in terms of not doing great. So hopefully GQ will swap this out to something different. That would be what I would like to see. Back to the video. It does have a forward controls ambi safety. Boy, those guys make a great ambi safety.
Great safety.
Jeez, man, those guys make a great safety.
Nice, crisp.
I mean,
click.
it's just so tactile.
Engages very nice. Disengages very nice.
Comes with a Q stock or brace, although probably not coming with the brace these days. I will, let's see, how do we navigate this one? So if you want to order this as a pistol, you can do it. Just know it will come set up per regulations that it will need to be gotten to you. So just know, hey, sure, you can still get this as a pistol. This is an SBR, but you can get it as a pistol. Just know that, hey, of course, there's going to be certain considerations that are now going to exist on that.
Sure.
Thanks to good old freaking ATF, you know. So the upper, we got a 7-inch barrel, 1 in 5 twist, which is good. 416R stainless adjustable gas block from Q. I do like that it has adjustable gas based on 300 blackout being a very picky round.
Sure.
It's just the nature with 300 blackout.
Tune it, leave it, call it a day.
So hey, if you're gonna run, what I would recommend is, hey, look, pick a 300 blackout round and just say, this is the round that I shoot on this gun. Tune the gas for that round, make sure it's reliable, and don't do anything else.
Yeah.
That's what I would do,
Yep.
okay? Use full powered subs. The really, really underpowered subs are like potentially gonna be problematic, and you're just gonna have to crank the gas up. But the SIG and the SMB stuff, I haven't had a single hiccup on the on all that range stuff. So that is that. Handguard, super slim. It's got a 7-sided end block. Fortunately, it's all usable. You know, as slim as it is, it's actually all completely usable.
It's functional,
which is
100%.
nice. It's well designed.
QD slots built into it.
Yeah, built-in QD slots. They're not reinforced, but again, that's coming down to the weight thing. You know, it's like that's the rabbit that we're chasing here, is the lightweight rabbit that, you know, should be an album named The Lightweight Rabbit. I don't know.
It's a band name.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I might be a genius then.
So stupid.
Just came up with a band name that is a real band name, you know? It's pretty impressive. You guys comment if you think that's a genius, but, you know, I think my mom will comment. She's going to be like, yeah, he's been a genius since the day he was born.
My baby boy.
Yeah. So anyway, bolt carrier group, we already talked about that. Ironically, much to my surprise, bolt carrier group is full auto rated, which just like, I wouldn't probably do that long. I wouldn't push that one too far, but I suppose you could.
I'd like to test that a little bit.
Yeah. Now that said, of course, as mentioned, it is a standard pattern bolt carrier group, so just throw in something else, you know? If
Sure.
you have a bolt carrier group that you like and for some reason you didn't like that or you did want to run it full auto, if you're an 07 that can do that or something, then hey, throw in a more robust one would probably be my 2 cents. On the bolt carrier group, they have a coating on it. It's called TDC, Thin Dense Chrome. Now, I was unaware of that prior. You know, I know of like nickel boron, titanium titanium nitride. There's different coatings that are basically meant to increase lubricity.
Yep.
And be more durable. And that's kind of the idea that, you know, dirt and everything wipes off. So I'm just going to read this. So it is MPI, by the way.
Microparticle inspection.
They're magnetic, actually.
It's magnetic?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not micro?
No, Wikipedia, that shit.
Well, Wikipedia, it's open source for idiots like you.
No,
I'm pretty
it's
sure it's
written by genius.
microparticle.
It's written by genius. I believe it's magnetic, is what I wrote. Who is right here, everyone? That would be a good comment. Is it the big man, or is it the Irish Panther? Who's going to win the debate?
Dude, your ego's getting a little out of control. I might have to beat your ass later to humble you a little bit.
You can't catch an Irish Panther, my friend. That's the thing.
Oh, I almost killed you right there, dude.
No, you did not. You know you're not. I saw that big fat fist coming. So it's mirror polished, and then it's got 12 hours of coating time. The yield is 3,200 Vickers, which hot freaking damn on that. You know what I'm saying?
What's that on the Rockwell scale?
It's high.
Oh.
Yeah, it's up there. So anyway, basically it's smooth and hard is kind of what that winds up coming down to, and it cleans off easily. So if you get dirt and debris on it, because if you use it a lot and it winds up dirty, it wipes down pretty clean and it's smooth and hard.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's more or less truncated from the website.
Is that like added with lube or without lube?
The lube helps it helps the speed.
Oh, okay.
It helps it function better, for sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't run that dry. Dry, it's just going to be irritating.
Yeah. It's going to cause issues. You're going to be disappointed. The gun's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, the upper,
right?
you know, 100%.
Yeah.
So just food for thought, you know, just kind of spitballing ideas here. The suppressor is their Oynx K, 6-inch cans, titanium, lightweight as shit. So it's 8.4 ounces, which is very lightweight can. Sounds great. Runs on a Reardon FHD muzzle device, so it's just a taper mount. Had no issues with that backing off whatsoever. It does sound good. Like, this is definitely a good sounding combination. Yeah. You know, with subs. I run Ear Pro because I shoot a lot of guns and I need to be doing this for the foreseeable future. So I just run ears.
I run Ear Pro too.
You know,
it is what it is.
But you could take off your ears and I think you'd be fine. You're not going to get wrung. It's 300 Blackout subs.
Yep.
You know? So you're good to go. So let's see. Price on this, $2,700. If you throw the suppressor on, they added up to $950. So you're at $3,650 total. So it's an expensive gun. It doesn't leave you wanting much from a feature set, as I mentioned.
Sure.
While I may have to swap out this trigger, aside from that, I would have told you beyond that quirk today, hey, look, man, I wouldn't touch a damn thing. Get it, throw a light and optic on, and just run it.
Yeah.
You know, good to go. I might have to swap trigger out, and I'll talk to those.
Got your BCM grip on there, too, that you failed to mention?
Well, yeah. It's a freaking grip, you know. It's just a grip. It's just a grip, everyone. It's not a A2, so it's pretty good. That's basically the only criteria for a good grip these days. So some final thoughts. What's going on there?
Nothing. You're just, a little disappointing response.
So. Well, it's a grip.
Okay.
It's a grip, dog.
It's the best grip on the market.
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Continue, sir.
Some final thoughts. So unlike the Honey Badger, which we did not have a great relationship with, at least on the SD model, this thing is not a nightmare to field strip and take your bolt out and put it back together. The Honey Badger is absolute nightmare from an assembly disassembly perspective. It's basically a two-man job. I know that smart people that have done it 1,000 times can go on and be like, hey, idiot, we'll go show you how to do it, and which you're more than welcome to do on our page. Don't tag me. I don't need to see it. I don't care that much. But this is just normal AR assembly disassembly, which I like. There's no proprietary shit going on here, which is what I really like about it. Especially on these quirky PDW things, you just assume, yeah, it's going to be all this weird shit. So it's a standard buffer system, which is also huge, that a gun that tiny is not running on some little proprietary system there. It's nice to shoot. Right now I got the gas cranked up pretty heavy, so a little snappy, but that's also kind of a result of the weight too.
Sure.
You know, it's like, hey, I'm shooting the same size slug, but with a gun that weighs 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, with the gas cranked up.
Physics.
Yeah, you know, it's just physics at that point. So definitely from a maintenance perspective, you're going to want to keep this gun pretty clean. Running it suppressed with subs, it is going to get dirty pretty quick. So I'm going to just say, hey, basically after every range day. If you run a couple hundred rounds through it, cool. Clean it before you take it out the next time. So yeah, I guess kind of where do I leave this? Where do I sit with it? You know, it's a mixed bag. There's still these quirky issues. You know, there's the ammo thing. I'm really chalking up to ammo, truthfully. I don't now believe, after being with this gun for like 3 months now, that the mainstream, just factory full power subs are the problem. I think this gun likes those and has run those completely fine for me. It seems like the Callaway issue was definitely part of the problem. The little trigger bolt catch thing, that's a quirky issue that I'll try to get sorted out. So, hey, it is a finicky system. I have enjoyed I actually enjoy shooting it quite a bit. I'm left a little bit in this zone of like, you know, looking at this, hey, is this a home defense gun? Well, right now it's not, because my bolt doesn't lock back. So that clearly has to get fixed, because that's not an issue I'm looking to have, you know, when my house gets broken into in the middle of the night. So I guess at the end of the day, hey, take this information, do with it what you will. The folks over at GQ have been really cool. They've really been great to work with. So I feel a little bad that, of course, on review day, when we've just got to move on with the show, that there's a couple little dings here that I got to throw, but it's certainly not meant, and
it is what it is, you know?
It's not meant to be harsh or in bad taste or anything. It's just like, hey, you know, I do think they're doing a cool thing. I think they're making a good gun. 300 Blackout PDWs are just so damn finicky and picky that it's like, you've got to make that decision for yourself in terms of where this kind of fits into your gun collection, if it's, you know, your fun piece, your self-defense piece, or whatever that may be. Speaking of self-defense, though, you know what I'm saying? Dude,
firearms, legal protection. Why do you need them, Jake?
Well, if someone breaks in my house in the middle of the night, and I got to send it legally, you know,
you want to be covered.
I need to pick up the phone and be like, hey, we had an issue.
Well, and who would you like to talk to? An attorney, which is who answers the phone when you call if you are in a legally self-defense scenario, right?
Yes.
Legally justified self-defense.
Yes.
Scenario. Our code is 1911. It saves you about 1/3 off each package. They have the single man package.
That's me.
They have the married man package and the traveler married man package, which is what I have, because I travel a bunch with firearms. They cover me in all the states that it's legal to carry in.
Yeah, make sure you're doing legal things in the other states.
That's up to you guys, right?
Yeah.
You got to follow your local state and federal laws. So thanks to the boys at FLP. Appreciate you.